This week we join Jesus at the house of one of the Pharisees. And they, the Pharisees, and Jesus are doing what I like to do, people watching. It's always quite fascinating, isn't it, when you're sitting at an airport or sitting at the mall, watching the people going by, looking at what they're doing, looking at what they're wearing, and all those sort of things that we do as we sit there in silent judgment. And that's what we find the Pharisees doing and what Jesus is doing as well. They're noticing things. You know, the Pharisees were looking intently at Jesus. They're out to catch him. There's a little piece of today's gospel that we've just missed out, and Jesus heals a man on the Sabbath, and that was, again, one of those black marks that the Pharisees had for Jesus. They didn't like it, and they stood in judgment. But Jesus was watching them as well, and watching people arrive at the feast. And he noticed how some people like to take the place of honour, to be up the front where everyone can see them. But Jesus, in today's gospel, is telling us something different. When you are a guest, make your way to the lowest place and sit there, so that when your host comes, he may say, "My friend, move up higher." And that way everyone with you at the table will see you honoured. For everyone who exalts themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. It's that whole call to humility, to not put ourselves up there. Maybe today we can just reflect on how humble am I? Remember that song from years ago, "Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way"? I think often we can try to be humble, but in trying to be humble, we can go too far. We become too extreme by our demeanour, by what we wear, by our posture, and we almost want ourselves to be noticed. That's not really humility. There was a great priest of Christchurch Diocese, Monsignor Tom Liddy. And when I was training to be a priest, he was the spiritual director in the seminary when I was there. Monsignor Liddy was a great man, a really holy man. He was somebody that I looked to, who inspired me. And I suppose I would like to aspire to the holiness that he had. He was a very humble man as well. In lots of ways, he did everything wrong in terms of what some would expect. You know, when you preach, you stand up confident and you look at people and you project your voice. When he preached, he read his text. He didn't really look up and look at people. He didn't project his voice. But everybody hung on every word he said because of the depth of his relationship with the Lord and with people. And if you paid him a compliment, say, "Oh, Mons, what a great homily, blah, blah, blah." And he'd say, "Thank you. Lovely day, isn't it?" He would always accept the compliment, but he would always move on. It's a bit like Mary, that day that she went to visit her cousin Elizabeth. And Elizabeth said to her, "Blessed is she who believed that the promise made her by the Lord would be fulfilled." And Mary talked about, yes, how from this day forward all generations will call me blessed. but not because of anything that I've done myself, for the Almighty has done great things for me. If we've got something to be proud about, we should remember that it's ultimately because it's a gift from God. And that ultimately we shouldn't be looking to ourselves with pride or puffing ourselves up, but rather we should be always thanking God for who we are. Because each of us is an earthenware vessel. We're blessed in different ways. But those blessings, those talents that we have are in fact a gift from God that have been shaped by the people and those around us. Every day when we celebrate Eucharist, the preface starts off, "It is our duty and our salvation, always and everywhere to give you thanks." And this attitude of thanksgiving is itself an essential component of being humble. We recognise that we are always in receipt of so many blessings, and our appropriate response is thank you. As we go about our day to day, perhaps we could ask ourselves, how humbly do we walk through life? We shouldn't put ourselves down. We shouldn't puff ourselves up. Rather, we should walk humbly and gently through this earth, through this life, giving thanks to our God who has blessed us in so many ways, for those who surround us and bless us with so many ways, for the beauty of creation, and for the amazing gift of life. In humbleness, we say, thank you, Lord. Have a great Sunday. God bless you all.